Alright, in this quick video, I want to go over the process of creating a post-process material. So what a post-process material is a material you create that just changes how the scene is rendered. And there's lots of different ways to utilize these to give yourself different effects. So the one we're going to create it's kind of that like demake style where it'll kind of pixelate your scene and limit the number of colors to give it a more I guess retro look, but just a more pixelated look. So to get started, step one is to make sure you have a post-process volume in your scene. You likely have one already, but if you don't, go ahead and make one. Otherwise, we'll come back to it in a bit. So first thing we'll do, let's go to make a material. I'll call this post-process demo. Let's open it up. And let's get going. Make this a little bigger, and here we go. So first thing to do is we're going to select on our main material node. We're going to come over to the details, and we're going to go down to material domain, and we're going to set it from surface to post-process. That's just to define it as a post-process material. Next, we're just going to go ahead and start building it out. So for this one, we're going to start off with a screen position node. Then off of the screen viewport UVs, we're going to grab a mask component or a component mask. We'll leave it as default. Off of the component mask, we're going to grab a multiply. That there. Then we're going to make a parameter. Hold S on the keyboard and click to create a parameter, and we'll call this pixelation. I'm going to set the default value to 200. Plug that into B, or sorry, we're going to plug that into a floor node, and then plug that into the B. And on any of these miscellaneous nodes, you can hold down Control and Alt, and it'll tell you what it's doing. So out of the multiply, we're going to grab another floor. Then out of the floor, we're going to add a divide. So this into the A, and then our previous floor node into the B. So you have a little setup like this. Out of the divide, we're going to add a screen texture. Let's see. Screen texture. Oh, not screen texture. Scene texture. Scene texture should look like this. We're going to plug our divide into the UVs, and then we're going to select it, and we're going to come over to the details and change the scene texture ID from scene color and change it to post-process input 0. Now out of here, out of the color, we're going to grab a multiply. Then we're going to create another parameter, S on the keyboard and click. We'll call this number of colors. Set the default to, let's say, 40. Plug that into the B. Then grab a seal node. And then out of there, one last to divide. Plug the number of colors into the divide, and then the divide into the emissive. And then if we look up here, we can start to see what's going on. So our pixelation, if we lower that, if I lower it to 100, it'll start to make the scene more and more pixelated. So we could go down to way down here, but we're going to keep it at 200. And then if we change our number of colors, this just like defines how many colors can be within that make up the object. So if I change this low to like, let's say 5, now there's 5 colors that make up the, the gradients and stuff. So, this can give it a look. So it's another variable to play with. But that's all the node work to be done. So create all these. They all come in as default. You just have to change this to a post process and then change the scene texture from scene color to post process input 1 or input 0. So let's save our material. And next thing I'll do, I'll right click on my material and I'm going to create an instance of it. And then to get it into our scene, we're going to select our post process volume. We're going to scroll down in the details panel and look for the rendering features section and look for the post-process materials drop down. We're going to click the drop down and we're going to see an array here. We're just going to press plus to add a slot, change it to asset reference, and then we can go ahead and drag and drop our material instance into the reference. And you can see right away it changes up our scene. So now if we want to adjust those parameters, we just open up our material reference or our material instance, and you'll see we have our two parameters we set up, number of colors and pixelation, set up right here. So now we can play around with these to get a look that we want. So post-process materials are really fun to play around with because you can give your whole scene a whole new look, and just, play around and have fun. But this is how to create this specific one to kind of give it that low quality or pixelated look.